What's going on, guys? I'm here to review the latest episode of Pokémon Horizons. This episode is titled The Future I Choose, and the summary for this episode is Liko and Roy once again saw the horrors of the wildfire before their eyes, leading to Liko deciding to bring the forest back to life for the sake of the wild Pokemon that used to live there. The group got help from their fellow Rising Voltagglers to plant berries and till the soil, and then something strange happened to the Arbolivia that saw them hard at work. In addition, Liko's pendant begins glowing once again. So this episode continues where the last one left off. The forest plot, it doesn't really stay around too long. It actually goes by really fast, right? It's a very small part of this episode. So they basically plant a new forest. They save the forest, replant everything. And Ludlow actually gets a really big moment here. His first time ever doing anything. He actually gets them water with his Quagsire. He's revealed to have a Quagsire in this episode. And he actually is the one that gives them the water. Or rain. It's actually rain. So, he actually does something. So that was a cool moment from him. But the really big stuff comes right after, where Arbolivia actually, when it had a last episode, it was revealed to have an ancient monster ball too, or ancient Pokeball. I'm watching the subs, they call it Monster Ball in the Japanese, but it had an ancient Pokeball too, and it actually gets inside it in this episode. It actually goes back in the Pokeball and goes along with Liko and Roy. So now the Arbolivia is with them now. They still don't know how to bring it out. Like, it still doesn't want to come out, but it's in the care of Liko and Roy now. Arbolivia is. So it actually is coming along with us. Also, during this whole scene, this whole sequence, Liko's pendant begins to glow once again. And we see the unknown Pokemon that we saw earlier in the series. This time it's showing like a vision. I think this vision is supposed to be of the ancient explorer, but we still don't know what this vision means, why it showed them that. I don't know, they don't know. We'll see. But in this episode, we also learn a lot about the ancient explorer. We learn that it actually, the same Arbolivia and Black Rayquaza that Liko and Roy have seen actually traveled with him all those years back, and there's 4 more Pokemon that he traveled with, 4 more ancient Pokeballs that we're gonna go retrieve. So that's a goal for Roy. That's good to see that he's actually he kind of has a goal now. Liko doesn't really have a goal yet, though. We also learned that the same story that they wait, how do I say this? Okay, so Liko's dad gives them a picture book. Not a picture book. Is it a picture book? Yeah, it's a picture book, now that I remember. Gives them a book, right? And it's actually the same story that Roy read during his younger years, right? The same story about the adventure Roy already had read, as mentioned earlier in the series. It's the same story that he read when he was younger. So that was cool to see. So yeah, it's good to see that Roy actually has a goal to get to, and we learned a lot. We learn more about the ancient Pokeballs, but not much. We do learn that there's more out there. They're not just. We learn that they're connected to the ancient explorer, but besides that, we don't really we don't know much yet. We don't know any more than that. And then, what's next? We actually meet Liko's mother, Luca, and also during this conversation, we also learned the name of the ancient explorer, with his name being Lucius. So we meet Liko's mother too. While Frida's also out doing research about the ancient Pokeballs, we actually see Liko mother, and they have a little conversation. Out of this conversation, we learn more about the ancient explorer. We learned that Free's also, interested in figuring this out. Actually, in this episode, I had thought that Liko and her mom were gonna meet, but that doesn't end up happening. She doesn't want to meet Liko yet because she wants, Liko to do stuff on her own. She doesn't, independent of her. She wants her to, decide stuff on her own. So that's why they don't meet. What we do learn out of this conversation, we do learn that that Liko's grandmother is also an adventurer of her own, and that she's in the Galar region right now. I actually thought she was from there, but no, she's actually just, it seems like she's just, visiting. So she's in an old castle in the Galar region. So that's our next destination. So that's where we're going. As I mentioned in the summary for the next episode, I covered that a few days ago. Our next destination is the Galar region. This episode, we also see Spinella, the explorers, and the Magneton and the Behem that was seen in the preview trailer actually belongs to him. So a confrontation is definitely gonna happen in the coming episodes, and I'm excited for that. And he seems really kind of scary. Like he's no BS. He's watching their every move. He even says, your little adventure with the pendant is over. Great line. But yeah, their next destination is the Galar region. That's about it. I'm probably forgetting some minor things, but basically, our next destination is Galar. We got a lot of information from this episode. So, I like that. It made me really excited for the future. This episode on its own, though, it's all right. It's just an exposition episode, but the exposition that we got does make me excited. So this episode is okay. It's good. Can't wait for the coming events, though. I'm really excited to see where Horizon goes in the future. So that's all for me on this review. This episode's all right. It's good. It makes me really excited to see the future of the series. So that's all for me, and I'll see you on the next one. Actually, before I go, after this episode, we're on a 3-week hiatus. So between that hiatus, I'll probably, if any news comes out, of course, I'll cover that, and I will upload some other content in between. So like I said, that's all from me, and I'll see you on the next one.